Bengals Beat podcast. I'm Kelsey Conway here with Charlie Goldsmith in sunny Los Angeles as we are here to get ready for the Bengals' upcoming matchup with the Rams in Super Bowl 56. The team got here on Tuesday, landed and have been getting acclimated. They're staying over at UCLA where they're practicing. They had their first practice yesterday. They practiced again today and wrap things up tomorrow before the big game on Sunday. Yesterday's practice, the only notable player not practicing is CJ Uzomah, but Zach Taylor said he feels good about his progression. And for those that were at the pep rally, which Charlie, I know you were there and you can talk about it, I heard he ripped off his brace and kind of gave everybody in the crowd the assumption that there's no way that CJ Uzomah is not going to play, right?
And they can't replace him. That's the thing. The Bengals have other tight ends, but none a dynamic receiving option over the middle of the field who can stretch it vertically, who can win one-on-one against linebackers and safeties. The Rams statistically have one of the three worst defenses in the NFL in that intermediate deep portion of the middle of the field, because their safeties are either early in their career or past their prime, and their linebackers are very weak in coverage. So that's CJ Uzomah territory.
Yeah, and if there's any player on this team that's been through more in his personal career, and just the fact that he's gone through a lot, being one of the only players on this team that survived kind of the roster purge, CJ Uzomah deserves to play in this game. So hopefully he's able to play and make an impact, because as you said, he's a big part of this offense. As we talk a little bit more about the matchup, Charlie, what did you think about what some of the players have said this week? Has anybody said anything too surprising that kind of caught your attention this week?
Yeah, I think the Cooper Kupp Jamar Chase comparisons have been one of the most notable storylines. How even players or coaches like Zach Taylor, who coached Cooper, now coaches Jamar, is drawing a direct comparison between two receivers who are as good at yards after catch as anyone in the NFL, two receivers that are as good at planning their routes and identifying weaknesses and coverages in the moment as anyone in the NFL, two great receivers, and frankly, the two players I'm most excited to watch in this game.
And I also thought one of the major storylines that we've heard about is Jalen Ramsey's praise of Jamar Chase, and as everyone probably, I'm looking forward to seeing that matchup, because Jalen Ramsey doesn't always travel with the best receiver, but the Rams move him around so much on defense that he's likely to spend a lot of time on Jamar Chase. I think this is going to be a T. Higgins game. What do you think?
Yeah, I keep going back to that middle of the field area, and T. Higgins over the last 2 weeks has made like 70% of his catches, it feels like, on those short crossing intermediate routes. When you look at how the teams are playing Chase, they call it cover 6. It's like cover extra safety zone on one side and just normal safety zone on the other side. The window that leaves is near the first down line in the middle of the field. And the route concept Zach Taylor's drawing up is Higgins getting the ball exactly in that window. That's why he's exploded the last 2 weeks. And you know, with looking at the Rams secondary, they don't really have the size outside of Ramsey to match up with that as well.
Yeah, and I think I was going through some numbers yesterday, and I thought this was really interesting, and I want to finish our video with this. When I was going through the PFF numbers, the game in which the Bengals had the best pass blocking graded performance from PFF was against the Broncos, which the reason I bring that up is because the Rams and the Broncos play the same style of defense, and with so much talk about how are the Bengals going to deal with that Rams front led by Aaron Donald, I thought that was really surprising. Obviously they only scored 15 points, but it was good to see that. And I know the Broncos don't have the same type of pass rusher, but it's the same type of scheme, and they do have some good players. I thought that's an encouraging sign for the Bengals that they held up against that style of defense and were able to win.
What's really tricky, though, is what makes the Rams unique is what they do with the defensive line after the snap. They'll have defensive linemen cross over the entire line of scrimmage to surprise the offensive line and get exactly the matchup they want. The Broncos don't do that as much. It's like the staple, the stalwart mark of the Rams defense. It's how they killed the Bengals with Aaron Donald in 2019, and that's the communication, the football IQ on the Bengals offensive line that's going to need to be at the highest level it's been all season.
Yeah, well, as I mentioned, there's a couple more days for Zach Taylor and his coaching staff to kind of iron out the game plan, finalize their details, and then you just let the chips fall where they may. Well, that's it for Charlie and I from LA today. We'll be back every day. Be sure to follow Cincinnati.com, all of our content team out here for updates and the latest from Los Angeles as we get you ready for Super Bowl 56.